Man, I don't know if I can do this today. Is my hair okay? My hair? Is it alright? Is it okay? I don't get spots popping up all over my... Oh! Makeup! Makeup! Did I put enough cake on? So I'm going to do a response video this time. I wasn't going to until I came across this particular video called Why I'm a Feminist. And I couldn't help myself. It's just so juicy. Besides, it's such a great opportunity to take this whole liberal argument and just bust it up. So, let's bust up some liberal argumentation.
So I was reading comments on one of my videos on my Nicola Foti channel, which is a beauty channel, and some of you may be saying, why do you have a beauty channel? You're a boy. And that's the exact point of this video.
You see, there's already so much to say, but in the interest of time, let's just skip on to the good stuff.
Why do boys call other boys girls when maybe they're not as strong as the other boys or they're doing something feminine? And why is that an insult? Does being a girl make you less of a person? Are girls just inferior jokes?
You see, this is what the left does. They create an argument without ever defining their terms, so they can spread their accusations over an entire class of people. For instance, I'd like to know how he defines his terms when he says, are girls lesser people?
And it's not just the boys. Girls use it too. So please stop. Stop perpetuating your own discrimination.
And now we're already down to begging and buzzwords. And how is this discrimination anyway? You're not discriminating against a girl by calling a boy a girl, are you? Are you even discriminating against the boy for calling him a girl? By definition, you're not. You see, discrimination is making a distinction in favor of or against a person based on group, class, or category rather than individual merit. When you call a boy a girl, you're making your observation based specifically on individual merit. This is not discrimination. You can call it bullying or picking on, but let's not apply one of your left-wing buzzwords onto this situation just to give yourself the moral high ground, especially when you're wrong.
Would you let your son play with dolls or your daughter play with toy trucks? Would you let your son wear a pink shirt if he wanted to or get your daughter a football? And if you said no, why not? Because kids at school might make fun of them? Because they're not adhering to societal gender roles?
This person is basing his entire platform on the assumption that people are going to answer his question convenient to his agenda. And if there are parents out there that would say no to his question, he's going to blame society instead of looking at the individual parent.
Maybe as parents we should start educating our children otherwise.
Why? You see, this person will suggest to parents how they should raise their children, but he'll never be able to support his platform by explaining why. Because he doesn't want to have to say, because it's nicer, and it would make me feel better. Or he would have to dive into the psychological arena in explaining what makes a boy feminine or a girl masculine, and thereby discriminate against them based on group, class, or category.
On the flip side, I saw Hal Sparks talking about how you need the balls to do something. But in reality, the testicles are the weakest part of a man.
No, they're not. The balls may be home to excruciating pain, enough to make you break out into cold sweats, even vomit. But before you launch an argument, again, without defining your terms, tell me what you mean by the weakest part of a man. Because balls can be kicked, punched, stomped, racked. You can get them caught in zippers, sit on them wrong. You can do all kinds of things to a man's ball that you can't do to his eye or his eardrum. You can apply as much direct pressure to his clavicle that your balls can handle to snap your clavicle in two. The balls might be the most resilient part of a man's body. But see, here you go. This person, like the left, is going to base an argument on undefined terms. He's just going to say something because he wants you to believe it. Or maybe this person just doesn't understand the metaphor. You see, when you tell a guy, grow a pair of balls, you're not telling him, don't be a woman. You're telling him to be a man, i.e., do things that men typically do that women typically don't do. It has absolutely nothing to do with women. Besides, when was the last time you heard someone tell a woman that she needed to grow a pair of balls? I personally have never heard this. It just seems to me that this guy is just fabricating things to whine about. And men don't whine. So I have to say, dude, grow a pair of balls.
Since only men have balls, it suggests that girls will never be good enough to do things that men do.
See, there he goes again, not defining his terms. I don't know what he means when he says there are some things that girls will never be good enough to do that men can do. What does that mean? There are things that, by and large, men can do physically that women cannot do. But what does he mean when he says they're not good enough to do them? Is it because they're physically not as strong as men that they're not as good as men? Is that what he means? Because I don't know. He's not defining his terms to left, never will.
Why not let your daughter dream of being a firefighter? And similarly, why not let your son join the ballet if he wants to dance?
He's just saying stuff because he wants a reason to complain, especially about culture. But here, in Western society, young women that dream about being firefighters, do you know what they do? They go be firefighters. And likewise, young men who dream about joining the ballet, do you know what they do? You guessed it. They go join the ballet. So, where's his problem?
This just proves to me that women still aren't considered equals.
What does? The fact that men and women are different?
And it also appears that women's struggle is pretty close to the gay struggle.
Fabricating struggle. That's all this is. What struggle do gay people have in America? The greatest struggle that I can possibly imagine that they have is the moment they decide to come out of the closet. I mean, what a soul-searching, gut-wrenching moment that must be for them. But outside of that, you can't frame their struggles in the context of society and culture when they have integrated into every level of our society, every level of wealth, every level of popularity, every level of fame. They're in the media, they're in sports, they're in politics, they're small business owners. They just won their right to get married. Gay people have created an entire cultural class around themselves. In America, gay people get every single thing they want.
I mean, just because you're a straight white male, that makes you better than a gay black female?
More undefined terms. More undefined terms. What does this person mean by better than? Is he talking human value? Is he talking cultural value? Is he talking personal value? And if so, how does he intend to measure these things to find out who's better?
And guess what? Your genitalia doesn't necessarily determine what gender you are.
Okay, that is not correct. That is incorrect. You see, your genitalia may not determine what your sexual preferences are. It may not determine what your life choices become, but your genitalia specifically determines what gender you are. The truth is the truth is the truth.
Surprise, there are transgender people in the world who may have been born with a penis, but psychologically in every other way possible, they're female. And likewise, there are people who are born with a vagina who have an internal sense of being male.
I'm going to do an experiment here. I, the knuckle-dragging right-winger, is going to open his mind, which is what I think our fine friend is trying to get me to do. And I'm going to suggest an alternate scenario. What if transgender people actually said, instead of, my genitals do not determine my gender, which is a lie and not true, they actually said, I am a male. Everything about me is male, right down to my genetic coding. I prefer to be female, and though my preferences aren't always my choice, my decisions are, so I decide to live my life as a female. And then they could even add the addendum, as I always do, I'm not asking your permission, and I don't care what you think. Do you think they'd be happier, possibly, after adopting the truth? I mean, what do you think?
This isn't weird. It's nature.
I would like to know who this person thinks he is to dictate to me what is or isn't natural. You see, he doesn't have the position to do that. No one has the position to do that because there's this little thing that often gets forgotten about called nature. And nature determines what is or isn't natural. And nature's design and nature's plan and nature's intention will determine for me what is or isn't natural. Yeah, I know, I don't have the right to tell anybody how to live their lives, any more than this person has the position to dictate to me what nature says. You see, Mother Nature will do that herself, and she's pretty good at it.
And you have no right to discriminate against these people.
No, right there. You see, On an institutional level, he's right. It is illegal to discriminate. But I get the impression he's not talking about institutional levels. He's talking about on a personal level. And the truth is, yes, you do have the right to discriminate. In fact, it happens all the time. Black people discriminate against white cops every day. White people discriminate against black thug lifers wearing hoodies. Jewish people discriminate against other religions, especially if they're 30 years old and single. American Asians are very quick to discriminate. So yes, on a personal, individual level, you do have the right to discriminate. Now, what if instead of telling me that I don't have the right to discriminate against these people, this person instead said discriminating against these people would lack integrity, decency, character? I would have to agree with him. I wouldn't be able to argue because that is the truth. He would then be right. I'm not advocating discrimination. What I'm advocating is that when the left argue, they actually use truth as their tool. You see, but the left doesn't want to do that because that would open up a dialogue about integrity, decency, character, and that would threaten just about every single tenet of their platform. Because it doesn't require integrity to demand that someone else pay your rent. And there's nothing decent about marching up and down the street half naked, wrapped in crime scene tape, wiping vaginal blood all over your face in a thing called a slut walk. And there is no character involved in aborting a child before it even has the chance to be born. You see, but people on the left, they don't put any stock in such things. Because if they did, they'd have to believe in a higher order than themselves, no matter what that is. And they simply don't have the humility to do that. That's why they can dictate to you what is or isn't natural to suit their agenda. They can also tell you what your rights are or are not. See my point?
What, just because you have a penis and you feel like you should have a penis, so, you're better?
Another undefined term.
And yes, I said penis and vagina. They're not bad words. They're body parts.
Another assumption about me, convenient to his agenda.
I'm a feminist because I'm sick of the word girl being an insult.
It's not, unless you're a boy.
And I'm tired of pink not being a boy's color.
Unless a boy prefers not to wear it because it's girly.
And I'm tired of gender roles that restrict a child's ability to grow into who they are.
But let's not forget about the multitude of other boys and girls who are gladly defined by gender roles. What about them?
So why don't we change it? Why don't we stop feeding into this archaic way of thinking and open our minds?
Why doesn't he stop begging? Ugh.
Whoever said a thought couldn't change the world is sorely mistaken.
Yeah, he's right about that. Unfortunately, I don't know of anyone who's ever said that.
Thank you for watching. And...
Oh, he's about to say something I completely agree with.
I'm sorry, I'm not sorry.
Only I would have said it a little differently. Nevertheless, I'm considering this liberal argument number 1 busted. Thanks for watching. I'm the Layman. Comment, subscribe, like, share. Peace out.